Wow. Wow. Okay, so, hi? Today is the day. The day that the Switch 2 presentation has occurred. I've been talking about it like non-stop for hours with so many people that I'm just like, let me just get all my thoughts together and throw a video together. Let's talk about everything that just happened, both in the presentation and all the information that we've heard after the presentation. I'm just gonna like watch it and like I'll just comment on anything that is remotely interesting to talk about. Yeah, the first thing that we got was Mario Kart, which was great. Like that was like the one game we knew, you know, to expect more of. So yes, like tell us all about it. I like how they opened on the stage that we saw in the previous teaser, but then they expand so drastically immediately. Look at all this. So we got like vehicles, we got boats, we got like, this looks like a snow like speeder of some kind, airplanes, like what in the Diddy Kong Racing is this? Grinding on rails and wall jumping in the cart? Cow, just cow. I love a trailer like this because it's just like, you barely have time to even process what you're being, you know, shown. It's just thing after thing after thing. Like, what is this? What is Birdo doing with the truck? So right here, Mario has a sandwich, and then he eats the sandwich, and then he puts on a costume. This is the first time I'm noticing the sandwich. So you're changing costumes like within the race? Like what's the purpose of, what does the costume do for you? And then we get the big title reveal for Mario Kart World, which is a great title. Get used to these guys. We're probably gonna start seeing a lot more of them in coming Switch 2 presentations. This shot is an excellent showcase for the absolutely psychotic roster. You get like a sidestepper crab, you get the buzzy like bee, there's like a penguin up there. Is like every enemy in Mario history in this game as a playable racer? Well, I get to see like some of these new tracks. Mario Bros Circuit. It's kind of interesting how that Space Kong looks a little bit more like the classic DK than like the new DK we've been introduced to. Yeah, Airship Fortress, Shy Guy Bazaar. Also Wario Stadium, like the N64 Wario Stadium that like has never returned before. Oh, Koopa Troopa Beach. I'm loving that like safari course with the elephant and giraffe, but that's gonna be so much fun. Cataquack. When is the last time that Cataquack has appeared in anything? Knockout Tour really reminds me of when I played F-Zero 99. Like you have to reach a certain threshold or you risk getting eliminated. Stressful, but like a cool mode. So like not only is this like the next Mario Kart, but it's also like an open world Mario Kart. And they look detailed too. And like there's little things for you to find and things to like explore and like grab coins and who knows what else. What like an adorable thing to let you do, to just like roam around at your leisure and just be like, yeah, go exploring. And like you just gonna go hang out with your buddies. This is great. Yeah, I was definitely worried a little bit that the next Mario Kart wouldn't feel like the next Mario Kart. It would just sort of be, you know, like a little bit more than Mario Kart 8, but like this definitely feels next generation, you know? And just like we're finally out of the Mario Kart 8 dimension. That's the biggest thing of all. This is amazing. I'm so thrilled about this. Asterisk. We'll get to it. So after this, we get a really long sequence basically showing the new voice chat and like just multiplayer convenient capabilities. Like it's essentially like a Nintendo Discord basically. It looks really like simple to do. I was worried at first that it was like a press to talk kind of thing. Like you had to hold the C button in order to talk, which I don't know how I would have felt about that. This is kind of cool. It doesn't look like it runs very well, but like, you know, you're not watching those screens, you're watching your screen. This is really cool. Like, this sort of broke my brain for a minute there. So it's not only just like the same game, but you could all like casually play different games while in the voice chat and just be like hanging out. I gotta say, I don't use Discord all that often. People who use Discord a lot might be looking at this and going like, yeah, we've had that for like years. So like mileage may vary on how useful this is to different people, but I can totally imagine this being like a big thing for a lot of people. It's just like a big development for Nintendo specifically, who's always been so behind in this regard. Like, this is a huge step forward. Yeah, it looks a little rough, but like, you know, baby steps. Just everyone like vibing and being like, hey, what's going on? Like, oh, that's fun. Look at that adorable little contraption. This is wild. Real Zoom energy. It makes Mario Kart look like a business meeting. So you will need a membership in order to access any of these features, but it is free for an entire year even without it. So like, that's cool. You know, this is a big one too. This is probably a really big motivation for this in the first place. You know, online chat is such a policeless, Wild West world. If I had a kid, I don't know, like I might be nervous about them, you know, just having the entirety of internet communication, you know, at their disposal. So like, something like this, you could feel a lot safer. And like a large community of people who are watching this might not be taking that into account, but like it's probably a really big deal to parents. So what is this download play like thing going on here? You know, this really eliminates the problem of like, hey, I want to like play this multiplayer game with friends, but then, you know, then they all have to buy a copy of the game themselves. Like, this is big. All right, what's next? Got like a whole montage here of new features for the Switch 2. That's a lot bigger. 120 FPS is insane, dude. Yeah, I'm not a like supremely knowledgeable like guy on the techie side of things, like graphical performance, but you know, I can tell that there's a big improvement here. This is huge, just gonna make the experience of like single Joy-Con controlling just a lot more comfortable. So yeah, we are working with a much more powerful unit. He says it best right here, like it's not just Nintendo Switch plus a little bit extra. Like from everything that was shown here, it definitely reads to me like this is the next big thing, which I think is a very important message to get across to consumers who don't want another Wii U situation. Right, and then this. So this is a cute little like tour game, you know, kind of gave me like Astrobot Playroom vibes, but it doesn't seem like it's as much of like a, you know, full game and more like just a little cute, you know, present this information about the system in a really like charming way. Though I think there were mini games. Yeah, there do seem to be mini games like showcasing some of the features, very, you know, tech demo vibes. It's cute. I think it would have been a perfect game to pack in with the Switch 2, but it's a paid digital only game. I get the feeling that if this is anything more than like $10, it's probably a lot of people might pass on it, which is a shame. It looks like, you know, it was well put together and really charming, but I don't know, whatever happened to the pack-in title? We got red cartridges and even the boxes. Like we've been seeing some box arts showing up online now. They're also red, which is good. Good color coordination. You know, make sure no one gets confused. That's cool. I mean, the customizability is great. You know, there's been a number of features here, both that have already been discussed and later, that like really promote, you know, customizable experiences, which is great. Nintendo has a reputation for you play our way. And so any amount of player, you know, control that they allow for us to play games as we want is huge. Like, that's in 2 months. That's in 2 months. What, like, I really wasn't sure when this was gonna, you know, drop. I thought maybe, you know, a holiday season, a lot of people were talking about, like November, December. I thought it was gonna be a little earlier than that, maybe like August, but June, dude. It's April now. And also pre-orders start on April 9th, which is only in like a couple days. Can't wait to see how chaotic that is. So now we talk about Nintendo Switch 2 Edition titles. Jamboree, they show off as like the big example, which I think is a good idea. Because it's essentially Jamboree, but now has a bunch of additional features that can only be possible on the Switch 2 and like what it offers. I will say that a lot of these games, like voice control games, camera games, mice games, I don't know if I'm really chomping at the bit to like do these. Yeah, like that feels like we're like leaving Mario Party territory and now entering like 1-2 switch, like everybody 1-2 switch territory. It looks a little goofy, but it's cute. God, the eyebrows. People are just gonna scream their heads off. The mouse control thing is really interesting. I didn't talk about it too much before. Let me get into more detail about it now. What are we mousing? Like, what are we mousing on? Like on our leg? Like, are we gonna have to like get a table for this? I don't know about you, but like, if I'm playing on console, I don't usually have a space dedicated to have a mouse. Like the mouse thing is cool, and I feel like there's some third-party games that could really benefit from it. Like certain things come to mind, like Baldur's Gate, for instance, Baldur's Gate 3. Like if that ends up getting put onto Switch 2, having mouse controls can be like, I think there was like a Civilization game. Like there's a lot of games out there that just are more convenient with a mouse. I'm curious to see where the whole mouse thing will go. And then they hit us with like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. We're getting both, which is great. These are gonna look beautiful. Oh, this is exciting too. So this goes beyond like just features. Like this is a whole new like side mode, like an additional story using their words. Yeah, with like new power ups. Like that's a new mouthful mode that doesn't exist in the base game. And of course, Metroid Prime 4. I mean, I'm playing this on Switch 2, absolutely. This is gonna be gorgeous. Mouse controls are really nice for a first-person shooter, I'll definitely say. That is crazy performance, man. And ZA, which is great. And boy, this looks like a shockingly like better, you know, version to play. Like this looks so much sharper and cleaner and smoother. This looks so like your wrists are going to be killing you controlling this. I mean, you know, wheelchair basketball is an interesting concept for sure. And I see what they want, you know, the whole like you got to do the drag motion with the mice to play. I mean that's an interesting gimmick, but I think for what it's, you know, setting out to do, it will probably be just fine. Yeah, then we got a huge third-party, you know, montage. We're gonna talk about third parties for a while, and just instantly Elden Ring. Yeah, this was a powerful statement right out the gate. I don't think anyone would believe that Elden Ring could be possible on Switch 1 without it being on like cloud, but this instantly sends the message of like, listen, any third party is now on the table. I don't think I would have guessed in a million years that the first amiibo we'd see in 2025 are Street Fighter 6 amiibo. It's with a huge surprise too. This is a sequel to Daemon X Machina. I never played this game, and I saw a lot of it when I was doing my videos on past Nintendo Directs because they showcased the first game a bunch in those. This looks great. Like, are you kidding me? This looks insanely cool. Split Fiction is also like a really solid game. This one like just came out like what, a month ago? To like already see it here, that's great. I love it too that like they're just Tony hawking around, you know, skating around this honestly really cool looking like cityscape. Like this game actually looks a whole lot of fun. You know, just like what you would expect to see from you know, Tony Hawk. And then suddenly SpongeBob jump scare. And then we're done. This was so exciting. Just like a Bravely Default remaster just kind of out of nowhere. I loved Bravely Default. I've actually thought about streaming Bravely Default, but there was just that like voice in the back of my head that was like, maybe this is gonna get a remaster. So like, this is great. Speaking of games I was considering streaming, they just hit me with Yakuza. I've never played any Yakuza, but what I do know is that if the people who enter Yakuza leave a different person than they were before. So yeah, this is on my radar, absolutely. And it's also available on launch. Then we get a new title right here. Well, we see Koei Tecmo, and I see this, and I'm like, we are doing another Hyrule Warriors. Tears of the Kingdom Warriors. This is great. Even playing Tears of the Kingdom, like I wanted more info about the imprisoning war than we got. So now we're gonna just be able to play it outright. Also, given what the Switch 2 is capable of performance-wise, like this is gonna be the craziest Warriors game that we've seen so far. Yeah, I think the Warriors is for everybody, but like I had fun enough. So like I definitely, you know, will keep an eye out on this game. Coming this winter, which is actually like honestly one of the later games that got announced, later launching games that have been announced here. And then incredible Incredible. I genuinely didn't think that they would do it, honestly. I thought that they would just do remasters and remakes of all the big GameCube games and just kind of leave it at that, but here we go. Wind Waker is a bit of a double-edged sword, though, because so many of us are waiting for the HD edition that came out on Wii U. Soul Calibur is nuts. Like that's a wild pull. And then F-Zero, I'm so excited to see it. Yeah, kind of shocking that there's only 3 so far, like that they're launching with. That's kind of small, but customizable controls, you love to see it. Yeah. And then this. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this. So many games are being freed from the eBay reseller graveyard. You got Path of Radiance, you got Chibi Robo, you got Pokemon XD, and also Pokemon Coliseum is on this list too. Those are some of the most expensive games that I can even think of, and it's just having them available here is just gonna be great. I could finally play Chibi Robo and I don't have to sell my limbs for it. I always had this feeling that if they ever remastered, you know, Luigi's Mansion 1, they'd probably either just directly port or do something similar to what they did on the 3DS, which a lot of people say kind of loses some of the original, like, ooky spooky vibes of Luigi's Mansion. And I see what they mean. You know, I don't mind the more goofy, vibrant, Halloween-y, like, look that Luigi's Mansion has now, but this is definitely an aesthetic that is unique to it. A lot of people love Coliseum. They love the animations. They love the fact that you are this, like, dark and edgy character with, like, you know, Espeon and Umbreon, and you're stealing other people's Pokemon. But I'm gonna say right here that this being in the hands of way more people, and people no longer have to spend like $150 to get a copy of Coliseum, playing it in the modern day, I get the feeling that the reputation might turn on it a little. But I don't know. I've never experienced it myself. Maybe, you know, a lot of these like other like people's opinions are, you know, being over exaggerated. Maybe it'd be different for me. You know, I actually picked up Coliseum like last year at an extraordinary price. So, like, the fact that this is happening now is kind of funny, but, you know, whatever. And available on the same day, too. Like, man. Oh, God, I almost forgot. In the hype of everything else that was happening, right, Deltarune is here. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 are here. There's been murmurings about this for, like, a while, and people were like, I think it's soon, but I don't think it'll be in a Nintendo Direct that it's revealed. Lo and behold, there it is. And also on launch day, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna choose what to play on launch day? And it was right here, I think, that the original live stream froze on like everybody. So there's like a small chunk right here that we didn't even like get to see. We kept hearing the audio, but it was just on like this frame. So everything coming up, I'm gonna see for like the very first time right now. This game looks cute. This also looked super fun and super adorable. They didn't show too much, but for another like multiplayer experience, this looks fun enough. There's a lot of these little spacemen around though. Is this like a massively multiplayer like online thing? Oh, Cyberpunk. I didn't even hear this. I must have been freaking out that the stream froze. I hear this game is a lot better now than it was when it first dropped. So like, you know, maybe I will give this a look. Then we get this highlight reel of just like a bunch of like, you know, smaller game announcements, you know, just showcasing, you know, we get this like basically once direct, you know, Hollow Knight Silk Song, like nothing crazy or anything, just like small stuff. You know, who cares about that? Forget it. Let's like move on maybe. Get a brief showcase of Professor Layton in the New World of Steam, you know, looking great. I would love to see more. Maybe they're going to post another trailer for that soon. And then here, they were like, one more third-party title. And I'm like, oh God, it's a From Software game, and they're saying the word blood a lot. So it's like, okay, it's a FromSoft game. Here's like a train, though, looking over this gothic landscape. You're like, all right, that's pretty familiar for, you know, From Software, like the Souls type of aesthetic. But then here's like a giant like metal guy and with a jetpack, and he's just flying. What is this game? I'm not too up to date in my From Software like knowledge. I don't have a lot of experience. You guys watched me play Bloodborne for the very first time this year. I've been informed that this is a like PvPvE game, which I barely understand what that means, but it's essentially what Elden Ring Night Rain is going to be, but with like Bloodborne flavoring. It's not Bloodborne exactly. It's got a different name. I forget what it is. A dinosaur. It is like transform into a dinosaur and eat a guy. Yet the powers in this game seem crazy. There's like several characters in this trailer that look like they could be a protagonist of their own game. Duskbloods, the Duskbloods. To get a multiplayer focused From Software and like exclusive, like this is only going to be on Switch 2, which is kind of nuts. So if we get a From Software game, right? And you know, it's like a Souls-esque style game and it's only available on Switch 2. What does that mean for future Smash predictions, huh? Asking the questions. They had only 2 things left to show us. And here's the first. You see a star flying around and I'm like, that's a warp star. Whatever's going on right now, it's Kirby related. But what is it? Is it a new Kirby? Is this Smash? Like, I had to brace myself that like this could be Smash I'm looking at right now. And we like zoom in ever so close to the warp stars behind and bam. You see that and you're like, oh wait, I know what this is. It's a Kirby Air Ride sequel. Looks beautiful. I wish we could have seen more, but you know, Kirby Air Riders. And then of course, like the big, you know, part of it, director Masahiro Sakurai. Just before he ended his YouTube channel, Sakurai was talking a lot about a secret project that he was working on for the Switch 2 that he was, you know, it's something that he really strongly wanted to do. It's Kirby's Air Ride 2, and that's fantastic. I'm sure we're gonna get a Sakurai Presents. They're like, he'll probably have a lot to say about this soon. Then for the final reveal, and oh boy, this one was packed heat. Immediately we see this, and we're like, all right, what are we looking at? This is some big 3D world looking thing. It's Mario, right? It's gotta be Mario. Only now do I realize a few clues, like those mountains, you know, stones in the back there that are very banana shaped. And then you get like these like Diddy Kong guys like mining around back there, and you're like, wait a minute. That's an ape. That's a Donkey Kong right there. Coming out of the shadows, revealing his new design. Not to toot my own horn, but I had one prediction that I was confident enough to make on Twitter the day before, and hey, I got it. Nintendo has been really subtly pushing this like new design for DK, and I'm like, it's gotta be for a reason, right? And this is it, a new big Donkey Kong game, and like I think it speaks for itself. Look at this. Look at this. Look how expressive he is. Look how destructive he is. He's just breaking everything. You know, the land is coming apart in his presence. You're gonna be a force of nature, swinging and rolling and just punching your way through everything. Just pick up a bunch of the level and toss it at an enemy. Why not? This looks so smooth and clean and vibrant. We get this little like original DK Country side-scrolling nod right there. He's so expressive. Oh, like the new design really pulling its weight. A lot of unique characters and enemies we've never seen. Banana. Yeah, this is absolutely, without question, a big highlight for me. This is gonna be something special. Like everything that I loved about Odyssey and Forgotten Land. Bonanza. Like this is gonna be, I'm gonna be talking about this for a while. And it's soon! It's so soon! It's not like launch day, but it's just like the next month. It's crazy. This is a big moment for Donkey Kong. He's been dormant for a really long time. There has not been a whole lot of new Donkey Kong games. He's been really big in other places like the movie and the theme parks, but this is gonna be the big Donkey Kong game that we're talking about for years. And so we gotta look at the box here, as well as a bundle with Mario Kart. And I think that is a solid transition to talk about the prices. So like within an hour of the live stream presentation, you know, like the website launched and a bunch of people started, you know, digging around for more information, and we learned some things. Let's get what is the easiest pill for me to swallow out of the way first. The price of the system itself. The price is $450, and I am okay with that. I was basically thinking it was going to be 400. You know, the Switch is 300. This is going to be 400. Like, I thought that was, you know, the most sensible outcome. 450 ain't too much bigger than that. Like, you know, it could have been 5. It could have been 6. But the games, though. Ew. DK Bonanza was the first price that I found, and I saw that it was 70. Does that mean that, like, it's like a Tears of the Kingdom situation where, like, just this game is going to be 70, but that's not going to be, like, the base price? Or are they all going to be 70? Which is when I got to Mario Kart, and, Mario Kart is 80. Now, you gotta understand, I love Nintendo, and I will be getting these things. I'm not thrilled about these prices, but I'm, you know, these are my games. This is my lifeblood. This is what I do. So, like, I'm, you know, if you're looking for someone who is going to really, like, highlight the, you know, despicable behavior here and, like, you know, vote with your wallet, rebel against, you know, the terrible pricing regime, I can't help you. I'm not the right person for you. But I will admit that I'm not excited, per se. It's sad to me that so many people's, like, hype from the Direct itself was kind of immediately, you know, squandered by people learning about the prices. And, like, all right, you know, it might not be set in stone per se. Like the 3DS, you know, famously went down like $100, you know, not too long after launch. So, like, it's possible, you know, that, like, if there's enough pushback or if there's not enough sales, that, like, maybe they'll turn it around. But, like, you know, it shouldn't have to come to that in the first place, you know? The console market and the video game market is kind of in a whole, like, maddening state. Like the red carpet was open for Nintendo to just, like, waltz in and have everything go perfectly. Like, given how many things are launching, like, day of, it makes these high prices, like, really, like, unfortunate. You know, what are the price of those, like, Switch 2 editions? And things like Welcome Tour, that, like, it's kind of shocking that it's even paid in the first place. You know, I said 10. You know, it's probably as high as I'd want to go. But, like, what if it's, like, 30? There's a lot of conflicting info at this moment, at, like, time of recording, you know, about physical prices, digital prices, what is going to be what. Is this because of tariffs? Is this just, like, the new expectation going forward? You know, we don't 100% know yet. Some people are going to be mad, and that's okay. I'm not mad. I'm concerned. I'm still gonna be getting it. Maybe I'm part of the problem. Oh, well. A couple other interesting addendums that happened after the live presentation. We got to look at the boxes for the games, which is, you know, I'm glad that the red plastic, I love that. I'm glad that they're really loudly screaming that these are Switch 2 games, not Switch 1 games. But boy, they really, like, cluttered and littered the boxes with just, like, a whole ton of, like, ugly looking information. There's also this whole thing about game key cards, something about, like, the games not being fully on the cartridges. That's not good. I don't know the extent of this. I got to assume that it's not across the board, that it's only going to, you know, be some games, some, like, larger games, maybe some third-party games, maybe. I can't tell based on the information that's currently here how extensive this issue is going to be. But on top of everything else, it's like, it's just another thing that's got people going like, uh-oh. Looks like the UI on the main menu looks like exactly the same, which is a little shame. Like, I wish there was a little more vibrancy and flavor there. Sounds like there are a lot of upgrades to the shop, like the eShop, though, which, oh my god, finally. Also, courtesy of Ant Dude, hang on. Right here in this shot, that's Woolly World. So, Woolly World isn't on Switch. So either one or two things have happened here. Either this is, you know, a mistake and that is supposed to be Crafted World, or they accidentally revealed that Woolly World is coming to Switch or Switch 2. Cool. So I should probably give my final thoughts right about now. I think the Direct was very exciting. The first party announcements were basically 10 out of 10. There was a lot of interesting third-party announcements as well. It was great to really get a lot of info about the hardware, like the system itself and its features. And this is all on top of the direct that we just had. Those like digital game carts, things like Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life, like that's all also coming. I think if it wasn't for that like pricing, you know, debate, then like this would have been like a 10 out of 10 home run. So it's a shame. And I will be curious to see how this all like develops, you know, as we get closer to June. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing Bonanza on stream. I'll probably also be playing Prime 4 on stream. Air Ride, when that eventually comes out, I'll probably be playing that too. So yeah, that was a Switch 2 Direct, I tell you. I'm gonna get to editing this and throwing it on the channel and then moving on to whatever the next big thing is gonna be. Thank you all so much for watching, and banana.